Sir, I support the demands for grants presented by the Ministry of Agriculture, and I would like to submit one thing in this regard. Our country is considered to be an agricultural country where about 70% of the total population is dependent on it, and it is also the main occupation of the people in rural areas. It is true that the country has made considerable development in this field after independence, but still it is essential to bring about further modifications in this field because with the constant increase in the population, our dependence on agriculture is also increasing and it has become a matter of great concern. We have to find out a way to reduce this dependence. About 2 years back, some states of our country, like Gujarat, some parts of Andhra Pradesh, and Rajasthan, were hit by one of the most severe droughts after independence. But the government, under the worthy leadership of Shri Rajiv Gandhi, readily met the challenge and did not let other parts of the country face any problem due to drought. The ministry deserves to be congratulated for facing the challenge with all its might. Two types of methods are adopted for cultivation in our country. One is the intensive cultivation and the other is the extensive cultivation. The population is increasing at a tremendous speed whereas the holdings are shrinking. So it has become essential to emphasize the need for intensive cultivation. What is needed is to raise the yield of per biga of land. Agriculture depends on various other factors. A farmer cannot reap a good harvest unless power supply and irrigation facilities are available to him. So far as irrigation is concerned, a few dams and canals have been constructed and pumping sets have been installed to fulfill the purpose of irrigation. But about the big canals, the journal complaint is that the farmers do not get the water for irrigation in time. Though in Kanpur, district canals have been constructed and pumps sets have been installed, but the water supply does not reach the fields at the tail end and the farmer suffer as a result thereof. I would like to the journal central government to hold consultations with the state governments and make certain arrangements so that water reaches the tail end of the fields where the facilities of canals, pumps, sets, etc. are already there. There is a common complaint that the farmers do not get remunerative price for their produce. The agricultural prices are fixed every year by the Agricultural Prices Commission, but the government should evaluate the criteria of fixing agricultural prices. These criteria should be further modified in order to enable the farmers to sell their produce at a remunerative price. Even today, the main grievance of the farmers is that they do not get a price for their produce which is proportionate to the costs and the hard work they do. So the government should pay attention to this also. The knowledge of the techniques of agriculture is increasing in our country very rapidly. The agricultural universities set up by the government are conducting research in the field of agriculture and are making use of that research in the fields. But it appears that this knowledge is used in some limited areas only. Therefore, a comprehensive program should be chalked out so that the benefits of this knowledge could be made available to all. I therefore urge the government to formulate schemes in such a way that our farmers could get the benefits of our scientific progress to increase agricultural production. The government is aware that the farmers have to face the natural calamities of flood and drought every year. Relief is provided by the government at the time of flood, but lakhs of acres of agricultural land is rendered unfit for cultivation due to floods. There is no doubt that agricultural yield increases following the flood, but the farmers have to face heavy losses prior to it. Therefore, arrangements should be made to check the recurring feature of floods in the flood-prone areas. The calamities like flood and drought can only be prevented by formulating programs of permanent nature. In our country, agriculture mostly depends on weather conditions. If the weather conditions remain favorable, the crops are good, but in the event of excess or deficient rainfall, or if the crop is hit by hail storm, huge damage is caused, and in that case, we curse the nature and say that everything has been destroyed due to bad weather. Therefore, the government must think in terms of finding preventive measures to protect agriculture from the havoc of natural calamities. The government has introduced crop insurance scheme for the farmers, but its benefit do not reach the farmers. Arrangements should be made to ensure that farmers get its full benefits. The crop should be insured in every part of the country. To ensure that its benefit reach every farmer all over the country, each one should be covered under this scheme. Sir, today in our country, the biggest problem which requires solution at the top level and in the most urgent manner is the problem of population explosion. We are all aware that we are adding one Australia to India every year so far as increase in our population is concerned. In spite of our tremendous agricultural output, I do not think by 2000 AD we will be able to match the growth in our agricultural production with the exploding growth of population. And so far as the availability of houses, schools and other amenities which are required for our population is concerned, we will be lagging far behind. Even today, most of our economy and most of our budget allotment caters for building up infrastructural facilities only. This has resulted in stagnation of development of our country. I would suggest to the Honorable Minister some of the points which may go a long way to make our country or our society more aware of the necessity of controlling the population and making the family planning program of the government a success. My first suggestion is that society's involvement should be more intensified. Today, most of the family welfare and family planning programs are being made, executed and monitored by the government. My suggestion is that more and more non-government social organizations should be involved. The biggest hurdle in our country today is religion. Somehow, we are still suffering from a phobia of having a son, and in the search of a son, people produce a string of girls. Not that the girls are not welcome, but this is the philosophy of some of the religions. There are some religions where use of family planning devices is being condemned. There are some religions where abortions are supposed to be anti-religious. So far as our villages are concerned, the family planning movement definitely desires to be intensified. Today, the rural areas are more urban oriented. We are having more family planning movements in the urban areas where the rich, the upper middle and the middle class live. We all know that in this class of society, people have taken family planning seriously and successfully so far as the family planning movement is concerned. But in villages, we still require the necessity of having this movement intensified. The basic reason is that so far as poor people are concerned, the poor people living in the urban areas, they think that having a large number of children is an economic boon. If a laborer has 5 small children aged 10 or 12 years, they can start working as a domestic help in the houses of rich, upper middle and middle class people. By doing so, they bring some money, and the house where they go and work, they get free food, the second-hand clothes and so on. So economically for a poor family, that much number of children is not a burden because they neither get education nor they have any standard to look for. So there should be some movement started by the Family Welfare Department itself in collaboration with other ministries under which the children of poor should be looked after and they should be given employment. The Honorable Prime Minister has stated that one person from each family will be given employment under the scheme which has been incorporated as per this year's declaration. This program must be intensified with a view to giving them more respectful and proper employment. So far as education is concerned, I think the Education Ministry is not doing their bit as much as they can do. It has been found that even in some states of our country where the literacy percentage is very high like Kerala, the population has been much better controlled. The result of family planning movement has been much better in those states in our country where education has been intensified at the primary and middle levels, particularly the education of women. So far as our rural areas are concerned, the stress on education is not as much as it should be so far as women are concerned. It is because women can play a much more predominant part in controlling the population rather than men. In the end, I will suggest that as the environment is becoming better for making the family planning program a success, we should also give the family planning program the seriousness it deserves in our budget. But I am sorry to say that in the entire budget document, there is not even a single line about family planning program. When we are spending so much of money to look after the poor, the unemployed, their housing problem, their education, their medical care, their all sorts of requirements, can't we spend some money to ensure that the population of the poor people who have become a liability of the government should be contained? Can't we give them some source of entertainment? There is hardly any place for their entertainment. There is hardly any playground for their children. There is hardly any club for their entertainment. All the places of entertainment are patronized by rich people.